This is where I spawned. It's a swamp. Well, the entire world is swamp only, but this is a nice swamp. First thing, obviously, is I needed to punch my way down from this tree. Okay, you guys know what it is. Crafting table, wooden pickaxe, stone tools. I also made some bowls for mushroom stew. Then I chopped some more trees because these are oak trees and I can get some apples from them. I did that until my stone axe broke. I got 7 apples and about 2 stacks of logs. I didn't have any coal, so I cooked some logs for charcoal. And then I made an entrance to my mine and I added a door. It was going to get dark soon and I didn't have a bed, so I decided to just mine all night. I got down to Y level 15 and that's the iron level, so I started making a tunnel to mine. I found a water cave and I decided to check it out. I had some doors and I could use those for breathing. I spotted some iron. I set up a door so that I could mine it. It's really foggy in the swamp water, so the video is not very clear at this point. I didn't see any more ores, so I headed back to my tunnel, and I went ahead and I put the 4 iron I had into the furnace to smelt. Once it cooked, I made an iron pickaxe, and I also made a shield. A little later, I dug right down into a cave. I didn't have any armor yet, so I was going to need to be careful because there were a ton of mobs down there. I was exploring a small part of the cave, and I found my first diamond. At first I thought it was just one, but then I saw another one hidden in the tuff. I ran out of torches, so I had to head back up to the surface. On day 1, I ran into a spider near my staircase. It was trying to hide, but that didn't work. It dropped 2 pieces of string which I really needed so I could make a fishing rod. When it got dark, I went into the middle of my swamp to fish. Luckily, drowned don't naturally spawn in the swamps, I don't think, so I figured I was safe enough. I spent a lot of time fishing and it's pretty boring to watch, so I'll try to edit out the boring as best I can. A zombie decided to swim over to me, so I had to jump into the water and say hello. I decided to build a better fishing platform because I'd been fishing on a log all night. I made a smoker so that I could cook my fish faster. I caught an enchanted bow while I was fishing, but it only had flame and unbreaking. That's an okay bow, I guess, but not too great. Later that day I caught a saddle. It's too bad that horses don't spawn in the swamps. I caught an enchanted book, but it was only loyalty 3. But then that night I got one of the luckiest catches possible. I caught a fishing rod with Luck of the Sea 2, Unbreaking 3, and Mending on it. My current rod was close to breaking, so this was super lucky for me. I caught a book with Riptide or Sharpness 3. I guess that's an okay book too. On day 3 I caught another enchanted book, but it was just Blast Protection 4. A zombie turned into a drowned, and I guess that's kinda sad, so I had to jump in so I could put him out of his misery. I was getting so much stuff from fishing that I had to make a second chest. I hadn't slept yet, so I knew the phantoms were going to be out that night, so I decided to just go down to the mines. I could see both iron and diamonds in my cave, but I didn't have any armor yet, so I was a little scared. I cleared my way to a diamond. Unfortunately, it was just one, but now at least I can make a diamond pickaxe. I spotted another diamond, so I fought my way over to it. Mobs were everywhere, and I was pretty scared. And then a baby zombie started chasing me, and he could easily end this run, so I had to pillar up so I could take care of him. Since this is a swamp biome, bogs spawn even in the caves, and they're really dangerous early game because they shoot poison arrows. The poison's not as bad as cave spiders, but it's still pretty bad. A bunch of zombies started chasing me, so I had to pillar up again to avoid them. And then my axe broke, so I went ahead and I made a sword. If a skeleton had shot me off the pillar, it would have been game over. But luckily my skills prevailed and I was victorious. A skeleton spotted me after I got down. Luckily it was after I got rid of the zombies. But then a bog started shooting poison arrows at me. I was pretty sure this was going to be the end of the run, after only 4 days. But I got to him just in time. I think it would have taken only one more shot. I decided I needed at least some armor before doing any more caving, so I started to strip mine a little. I found another water cave, so I grabbed the iron from in there. It was nighttime outside when I tried to go to the surface, so I put my iron into the furnace to smelt. Then I made another iron pickaxe. I still needed more iron though, and I found another cave at iron level. I still didn't have any armor though, and my torches were running low, so I just grabbed some of the easily accessible iron. Then I went back and I made a blast furnace so that I could smelt my iron quicker. On day 5 I made some shears so that I could finally get some wool and make a bed. I found some close by sheep and I sheared them. When I got back there was a wandering trader, but I didn't have any diamonds yet. I really wanted the sand he was selling, but I had no way to get it. I used a boat on the llamas so that I could get the leads, and then I tamed the llamas so they wouldn't despawn. I gave them some black carpets so they'd look a little cooler, and I used the rest of the wool and I made a bed. I did some more fishing. I already had a lot of cod, but I wanted some more salmon, and possibly some more good loot. First catch I got another enchanted book. It was sharpness 3 again. Since I already have a sharpness 3 book, I can combine them on an anvil for sharpness 4. I had enough iron for an anvil, but that meant I wouldn't be able to make full iron armor. But I decided to go ahead and make the anvil because sharpness 4 is really good and I'll need an anvil later for other things. I can get more iron pretty easily. I was finally able to go to sleep that night. I was really tired. The next morning I made a diamond sword, and then I used my remaining diamonds and I made a diamond pickaxe. I used my anvil and I put the sharpness 3 book onto my sword, and then the other sharpness 3 and knockback book. Now I had a pretty decent sword. I fished some more, but don't worry, I'll skip most of it. My first catch was an enchanted bow. This one had power 4 on it. That's really good, but it was close to breaking. A little while later I caught another enchanted book. This one had protection 3 and unbreaking 3 on it. That's a really good book. The next catch was another sharpness 3 book. If I could get one more I could have sharpness 5 on my sword. I caught another enchanted bow. I was getting really lucky. This one had power 4 and flame on it. Combining these 3 bows would make a really good bow. I used my anvil and I combined my 2 power 4 bows to make a power 5 with flame. I tried to add the unbreaking bow, but I didn't have enough levels yet. I caught another enchanted bow, and this one had power 4 and infinity on it. An infinity bow is crazy to have on day 6, and it was really going to help me out. I still needed to get it repaired though. That night I went after a spider on the shore. I needed some string, but I only got 1 string from it. The next day I grabbed my anvil and my blast furnace. I had 8 pieces of iron, so I made an iron chest plate so I'd have a little bit of protection at least. Then I headed back down to my mine. Look, a frog. Hey frog. I needed more iron, and I also wanted to find some spiders so I could get some string. I set up my blast furnace in the cave, and I got the iron smelting. I went ahead and I made the rest of the pieces for full iron armor. And now that I had armor, I could go a little deeper into the caves and hopefully find some diamonds. I saw a few in the roof, so I pillared up to mine them. I decided to take a few shots at some creepers, even though my bow needed repairs. I had to make a new shield because I didn't want it to break in the middle of a battle. And then I found a few diamonds in a side cave. It's a little safer in the side caves, but it's easier to get lost. I decided to use the diamonds I had, and I could go ahead and make a diamond chest plate. And then I could use the anvil with that book that had protection 3, and I'd have 1 piece of really good armor at least. I found some more diamonds that I'd missed earlier. It ended up being 4 of them. 4 diamonds is enough for some shoes, so I went ahead and I made a pair. There was a spider and a creeper. I still needed 1 piece of string, and luckily the spider dropped it. I had enough diamonds for some leggings, so I went ahead and I made those, and then I went up to the surface for a little while. I was starting to run low on torches again. I made a new bow, and then I used my anvil. I combined my infinity bow with the unbreaking 3 and flame bow that I had from fishing, but I needed some more levels before I could fully repair it. I decided to fish some more so I could get some quick EXP, and then I was fully able to repair my bow. It was starting to get dark out, so I decided to go down to the caves instead of sleeping. I killed a zombie and he dropped a carrot. I was starting to get most of the cave lit up. It's a really nice cave. I just wish there were more diamonds easier to get to. There's some in the ceiling, but I had to pillar up to get to them. I found a mine shaft in a side cave, so I had to explore it some. I started getting chased by zombies and a skeleton was shooting at me. My health was getting kinda low, so I had to just kinda run away so I could heal. There was a cave spider spawner, and I was trying to avoid getting poisoned by cave spiders. But there were some diamonds close, and I really needed them. I wanted to make a staircase down to the cave so it would be easier to go up and down. And then I had to make a new double chest so I could store some of my stuff. My organization is really lacking, to say the least. Unfortunately, it doesn't get much better. I made a diamond shovel because I wanted to level out some land so I could make a farm and grow some carrots from that zombie carrot I had. But it got dark, so I retreated to the safety of my fishing platform. Some phantoms started attacking me because I still don't have a roof, so I took care of them and I got a phantom membrane for a slow falling potion. Some more phantoms spawned and I got another membrane. I got a nice area for my farm cleared out and leveled on day 11, so I planted my zombie carrot. I only had one, but I had some bones for bone meal. That gave me enough carrots for 2 rows. I wanted to grow some wheat also, but I only had 2 seeds. I ran around punching grass to get some more seeds. I did that for a while and I ended up with 23 seeds. I've heard if you plant crops in alternating rows they grow faster, so that's what I was trying to do. I needed to build a simple roof for my platform so that the phantoms couldn't get to me. I just used cobblestone because it's a fishing platform and it doesn't really need to be all that fancy. Some of my crops had grown on day 12. I harvested them so I could replant the seeds. That was enough to fill in one patch, but I wanted another patch, so I had to fill in some swampland. I was starting to get a good amount of crops growing. Hopefully food won't be much of a problem anymore. I needed some obsidian, so I headed back down to the caves on day 13. I poured some water on the lava, and luckily it's a huge lava pool. It takes a really long time to mine obsidian if you don't have efficiency on your pickaxe. I mined enough for my nether portal and for an enchantment table, and I also mined a few extra. That night I got all my gold smelting for my upcoming trip to the nether, then I fished for the rest of the night. The next day I built my nether portal. I built it in the middle of the water so that mobs wouldn't come through it. I gathered up everything I was going to need and then I lit the portal. I was really hoping for a good nether spawn. It's always scary going through a nether portal for the first time. When I jumped in though, I got one of the worst spawns you could imagine. I was in the basalt deltas with lava right beside me. I had absolutely nowhere to go. I looked at my cords and I was pretty high up in the air. I decided to try to tunnel my way to somewhere, anywhere. But after a really long time of mining, it opened up into basically nothingness. I dug a tunnel in another direction, and it wasn't much better. I thought maybe I should go back home and move my portal. And I decided to fish for the rest of the night. I caught an enchanted bow that had power 4 and mending on it. It's not as good as my infinity bow, but I'll keep it as a backup. On day 15 I decided to put my nether portal down in my mine. I thought this would maybe spawn me at a lower Y level in the nether, and it would be easier to navigate. I was wrong though. It just took me back to the same portal I was at before, so I had no choice but to just tunnel in a new direction. But this tunnel also opened up into a huge drop. I had one direction left to try. This one was a drop too, but not as bad, so I tried to mine over it. And then finally, I got lucky. I tunneled right to a fortress. I really wanted to trade piglins for some fire resistance potions before the fortress, but I guess I had to go ahead and do it. I mined into the fortress and I got the advancement for a terrible fortress. I was going to need to be real careful though because my armor's not too good. I don't have fire resistance potions, and my food's also not too good. There was a wither skeleton right there. Luckily I'd made a safe area and he couldn't get to me. I saw a chest and then another chest, but a blaze was guarding it. The first chest was just junk. The other chest had some gold bars, and I guess I can use those. I found another chest with some gold bars and iron, and then another chest with more gold bars and a saddle. I already have like 5 saddles from fishing though, so I just left it behind. My pickaxe was going to break soon, so I went ahead and I made a new one. I was going to need some nether warts, so I grabbed some of that beside a staircase. I found the blaze spawner. Luckily it was boxed in and I could set up like a safe area. It was pretty easy to shoot the blazes without them being able to shoot me. I got my first blaze rod. I needed at least 7 though, preferably more. I was still getting hit some, but not too much, I could handle it. There was a zombie pigman that walked up, and I didn't want to hit him. I got up to 10 blaze rods, and that's enough, but I still wanted more than that. So I got 13, and that was going to be good enough for now. The fortress led right into a warped forest. I decided to go check it out and see what I could find. I had to make a bridge over the lava, and that's kind of scary without a fire resistance potion. It was a pretty big warped forest, but I saw a crimson forest ahead of me, and that would mean I could find some piglins to trade with. But then I saw it opened up into another waste, and that would be much better, so I decided to go there. I found a bastion, and when I got closer I saw it was a treasure bastion. That's the best kind for me, but I would definitely need fire resistance before I could go inside of there. Before too long I got 1 fire res, and then I got some ender pearls. Ender pearls and fire res is really all I needed. And after all my trades I ended up with 3 fire res and 6 ender pearls. On my way back I wanted to go and check out that bastion. Since I have fire res I can just sneak in through the lava. I always try to throw the splash potion straight up. Otherwise you won't get the full amount of endurance. I had to swim through the lava to get to the magma cube spawner. If you don't get rid of that thing, it's easy for them to overwhelm you. I tried to make the area a little safer before opening the chest. In the chest I got a netherite template. I also got some diamonds. I also took the magma cream so I could make some more fire resistance potions. I started to take the gold blocks, but a piglin was behind one of them, and he was mad at me. I tried to take all of them, but I knocked one into the lava. I didn't see any more chests in the treasure room, so I decided to just go ahead and leave before my potion wore off. I stopped in the warped forest on my way home. I wanted to try to get some ender pearls. I feel much safer using this bridge now that I have some fire resistance potions. I wanted to get at least 10 pearls. It takes 12 for the portal, but I wasn't sure I wanted to fight the dragon yet. It was nighttime when I got back home. This was a really productive nether run. I got a lot of really good stuff. I went fishing again and I caught another enchanted fishing rod. This one had lore too. I decided to combine it with my current fishing rod on the anvil. It took 12 levels though. Ouch. Day 19 I wanted to do a little bit of exploring, but also gather some sugarcane. I was hoping to find a witch hut because there are a lot of them in the swamps. Hey pig. I finally spotted a witch's hut later that day. I sniped the witch from my boat, and then I tamed her cat with some fish. Hey cat, we're friends now. Now I was happy to have a cat, but swamps aren't too safe for cats because of all the water, and cats and water don't mix. I had to sleep under the stars that night. Day 20 it was raining, and I just wanted to get home safely with my cat. I was kind of far from home, so it could take a while. I let my cat use my cape to keep the rain off, and also to stay warm. Finally we got home, if you call a fishing platform home I guess. Planted all my sugarcane, not in a real organized way, I could do that later. There was a thunderstorm that night when I was fishing. The roof is cobble though, so the cat's safe. Lightning was striking all around. I spotted a zombie villager on the other side of the swamp, so I swam over there and I put him into a boat. I put some blocks over him so he'd be safe from the sun. I used one of my blaze rods and I made a brewing stand. And I drank my fire resistance potion so that I could use the bottle. And I had another water bottle from a piglin trade. I made a fermented spider's eye, and then I got my potion brewing. I added some gunpowder to make it into a splash potion. I had to use some of my gold and I made a golden apple. I boxed the zombie in for safety, and then I splashed him with the splash potion of weakness and I gave him a golden apple. I went to bed right at the end of the day so that no more mobs would spawn. The next morning I wanted to build my villager a little house. Nothing fancy, just something to keep him safe. He finally got cured. I think swamp villagers look real cool with their outfits and their leaf hats. I let him out of his boat and he walked straight into his new house. I set up some torches to keep the mobs out. Then I set up a little garden for villager to farm. I hadn't built a roof yet. I decided I could just go ahead and put a few slabs up and maybe fix it tomorrow. I woke up my villager and I sold him the remaining wheat and the carrots I had. On day 23 I gathered up some crops. I wanted to level my villager up so that I could buy golden carrots. When I was approaching his house, something just seemed kinda off. He should have been outside farming at this time of day. And then I saw him. He had turned into a zombie again, and he was on fire. I kinda panicked a little. I didn't have a water bucket to stop the fire in time. I acted too slow and I lost my villager. I wasn't sure what happened at first, but then around back I saw another zombie. And I also saw a trampled carrot patch. That told me the zombie must have spawned on the roof and jumped down. I guess I forgot to put torches on the roof. It was a terrible day for me. I killed the zombie in retribution, and I spent some time chopping trees so that I could have some wood to build a mob grinder. I didn't really want to build a mob grinder, but I wanted villagers. I got over to where a herd of pigs lived, and there was a zombie piglin. There's no way he could have came through my portal. I realized he must have been a pig that got struck by lightning during the thunderstorm. I was fishing that night and the slime swam over to me. I didn't know they could jump on water, but they looked kind of funny doing it. The next morning I finally made a diamond helmet, so now at least I have full diamond armor. Then I headed back down to my mines because I needed some blocks. I mined blocks all day and my pickaxe was starting to wear out, but luckily I was finding a lot of diamonds. I got back on day 25. Hey cat. I had a pretty good amount of tough and deep slate blocks. I drank my last potion so I could use the bottle and make a slow falling potion. I turned some gold into nuggets so I could make some golden carrots, and then I made some eyes of ender. I only had 10 pearls. I was hoping there would be some when I got there, and also that none would break along the way. Okay, let's go. Oh wait, it's that way. I tried again because I wasn't sure. It was pointing straight to the north. When it got to be nighttime, I went ahead and I went to sleep under the stars. The next morning, I threw my first eye and it broke. So now I was down to 9. And the very next eye I threw, well, it broke also. So now I was down to 8. Later that day, another one broke. Luckily, I was getting close. It changed directions again, so I assumed it was right below me somewhere. I found a little water cave, and I could see the stone bricks of the stronghold. It was a super lucky spot because it was right beside the portal. I really hate silverfish. The bad news is the portal only had 1 eye in it. I still needed 4 more. I decided to go ahead and put the ones I had into the portal. And I accidentally threw 1. So now I need 5. I wanted to go ahead and find the libraries. I found a chest and I got an eye armor trim from it. And finally I spotted a library. The first chest had some books, but the only one I could really use was Unbreaking 3. I chopped down some of the bookshelves so I could use them for my enchanting table. The chest upstairs didn't have a single enchanted book in it. I found the second library a little later. I went to the upstairs chest first, and once again, not a single enchanted book. The other chest had density 4 for a mace though, and I took that because I plan to get a mace pretty soon. I wanted to make a new nether portal, and then maybe I could get some more pearls. But it was an even worse spawn than my main portal. I didn't want to spend the whole day mining basalt, so I went back to the overworld. On day 27, I decided to head back home. I found another witch's hut that night, and I went to sleep outside of it. The next morning, I rescued the other cat with a lead. Then I caught some fish so that I could tame her. I had to box her in so she wouldn't run away, and now I could bring her home and Cat could have a friend. Unfortunately, we were pretty far from home. That night when we finally got home, I slept in Villager's house because it was raining and I had Cat with me. I got the new cat back on day 29. I think they get along. I made an enchanting table and a bunch of bookshelves. I set up an area for enchantments, and I had 20 bookshelves, which is more than enough. On day 30, I had to go back to the Nether so that I could get some more ender pearls. I ran into some wither skeletons while passing through the fortress. One of them dropped a wither skull. Then I got to work on fighting endermen. I had enough eyes on day 31, so I headed back home. I tried to fight some more wither skeletons on the way back, but I didn't get any more skulls. I gathered up everything I was going to need for the dragon fight. I wish I had more than one slow falling potion, but one is better than none. I'm not really good doing a water bucket clutch, so I really need slow falling potions. It was a pretty uneventful boat ride to the stronghold. Lily pads are kind of annoying though. I forgot to bring any extra blocks, so I had to mine some cobblestone beside the portal. I made the rest of the eyes I would need, and then I added them to the portal. Okay, it's time. Wish me luck. I hate when it spawns you in a box. I never know which way to dig. Once I got up, I wanted to wait as long as I could before drinking my potion because I only have one. The first thing I always do is I pillar up to the cage crystals. You can hit them with a bow, but it never really works for me. I got rid of a crystal from the ground. I wasn't having much luck though, so I drank my slow falling potion. Then I pillared up by one of the tall pillars. From up there it's pretty easy to hit the crystals. After I got all the crystals, the dragon started perching. And just like that, the dragon was defeated. I gathered up all the EXP and I got up to level 68. This should give me some pretty good enchantments. The portal to the outer end was over the void, so I had to bridge over to it. I threw in a pearl and I got the remote getaway advancement. I looked around and to my surprise there was an end ship right there in front of me, not too far away. I was expecting to have to search for days because of how unlucky I'd been having with spawns. I had to throw an ender pearl to hop to the other island, and then I pillared straight up to the ship. I wanted to go ahead and get my elytra first thing. I got rid of the shulker that was guarding the wings. The first chest had some diamonds and a chest plate, and a really good pickaxe. And the second chest had a really good helmet. I went ahead and I put it on. And then I grabbed the elytra off the wall. I got the Sky's the Limit advancement. I took the health potions from the brewing stand because I needed the vials. I grabbed the dragon's head from the front of the boat. Unfortunately, I forgot to bring fireworks rockets, but at least I can still glide. I needed some more shulker shells, and I also wanted to see the other loot. I cleared the whole end city, and I couldn't find any more chests. I got a lot of shulker shells though. I turned my render distance all the way up, and I saw a small city kind of far away. I decided I might as well go ahead and check it out, so I gathered some end stones so I could bridge over there. There were a lot of shulkers in the tower. I actually started to get pretty low on health, but I got up to the top and I healed. In the first chest I got another pretty good pickaxe. I made a shulker box because my inventory was getting full. The second chest was mid. I found another chest. Unfortunately the chest plate had binding on it. The shovel was okay though. I found another chest and I got some leggings with mending, and I also got another diamond pickaxe. That was all the loot, so I headed back to the portal. I grabbed the dragon's egg on my way home. Then I jumped into the portal and I got the new end credits. I spawned at Villager's house because that was the last place I slept. RIP Villager. Hey cats. Cats, hey, I beat the ender dragon. I did. I had all those levels for enchants. I checked a book and it was Feather Falling 4, so I took that. Then I put Silk Touch on a pickaxe. Unfortunately it didn't have anything extra. I made a grindstone and then I noticed that a pillager patrol had come to visit. I got rid of them though. They're pretty easy to fight. The leader dropped an ominous bottle with Bad Omen 5. I'll be able to use this when I find a trial chamber. I redid my pickaxe because it said Silk Touch again, and this time it had Efficiency 4 and Unbreaking. That's much better. I put Protection 3 and Unbreaking on my leggings. I needed some more lapis, so I headed down to the caves, and I found some underwater. On day 36 I wanted to do some more enchantments. I got Protection 4 on my shoes with Unbreaking, so now my armor's pretty good. I have Protection 3 or 4 on each piece. I put Efficiency 4 on my axe. I wasted some levels trying to get Protection 4 on a new pair of leggings. Then I got it, but it didn't have Unbreaking. I could combine it with the others though. I made a Protection 3 book that I can add to my chest plate for Protection 4. I did an Aqua Affinity book. It was kind of a waste. Got another Protection 3 book. Then I started combining it all on the anvil. But I ran out of levels with my shoes. Now my armor was basically perfect, but I needed mending for all of it. I needed some gunpowder, so I ran around fighting mobs that night. It got kinda crazy. The next morning I upgraded my boots. Then I did some farming. I was starting to get a large amount of wheat. I kinda need a new house now because I'm tired of living on a fishing platform. My cats are tired of it too. I was going to need a lot of logs, so I deforested a large part of my swamp. I'm not a good builder, and I don't want to bore you guys. This is just a starter house for now, so I'm just going to post a few short clips of the progress. I guess I did the best I could at the time. Don't worry, I improve it later. On day 41 I made a trip down to the caves. I wanted to explore that mine shaft and try and find some glowberries. There's a lot of diamonds in caves in 1.21. After a while I found a chest and it had some glowberries in it. On day 42 I wanted to make some paths through the swamp to my house. I really like these new tough blocks, by the way. There's a really good selection. It was raining and gross outside. It's not the best weather for working in the swamp. I brought my cats over to our new house. They seemed happy to have more space. I gave them some fish and they made a little baby kitten. Then I got to sleep for the first time in my new house. I needed a lot of logs, so I spent the next day chopping oak trees. I wanted to leave a few trees near Pigman. He really likes trees. My cats made another kitten. I had a lot of sheep near my base. I decided to just not fence them in and let them run around free. I wanted to build a small mob grinder to get a zombie villager from. I started gathering up all the supplies I would need. I needed more iron for hoppers though, so I went down to the mines. I had Fortune 3, so it was pretty easy to get a lot of iron. It was almost nighttime when I got home. That night I started building my mob grinder. I'll go ahead and spoil it though, it doesn't end up working out. I built it too close to the ground level. It should have been much higher in the air, so I'm not going to fill too much time showing the build since it was kind of a failure in the end. Later that night I saw a zombie villager on the ground. I jumped down so I could catch him. I had to make a boat real quick, and then I trapped him in the boat and I made him a roof. I decided to keep working on my mob grinder because I figured I could get a second villager pretty quick and cure them both at the same time. I was wrong though. I ran out of blocks, so I had to go down to the mine to get some more. I finally got finished on the night of day 46. It looks okay for a mob grinder, but looks mean nothing if it doesn't work. I wanted to light up any caves that could be under it, so I swam down and I dug down. There was a mine shaft directly below the grinder, so I needed to light that up with torches. There was a chest and I got a name tag and some seeds from it. When I came back, one zombie was in the grinder and I was hoping it was fixed, but it wasn't. I hate when I build something that doesn't work, and then I don't want to give up on it because it took time to build. I thought maybe I could fly away and I could come back and it would be working. It's a lot of fun flying around with an elytra, but I had no luck with the grinder. I found another cave underneath the grinder, so I was going to need to light that up too. There were a lot of mobs down there. Bogs really are annoying with that poison. Lighting up that cave didn't work either though, so still no mobs. On day 49 I put a roof on Villager's house. Since my mob grinder was a failure, there was no telling how long it was going to be till I got a second villager, so I may end up only having this one. I needed a proper house for him to keep him safe. It's not the greatest, but it'll do for Villager's house. That night I boxed myself in with him and I gave him his potion and his golden apple. Then I just sat there with him until he cured. What's up, bro? I'll try to keep you alive, don't worry. Stay here. I'll be back in the morning. Day 50 I got Villager moved into his house. It was no problem. I needed to make them both have a mending book and buy paper. So I needed to keep breaking his lectern until I got that specific trade. Eventually he offered an expensive mending book, but with a bookshelf trade. And I can't do that because I need to sell paper for emeralds. And then he did it again with a cheap mending book. I still couldn't do it though. Finally in the middle of the night he gave me the trade I wanted. The mending book was 2 instead of 1 emerald, but I took it. I was tired of resetting his lectern. I had to harvest some sugarcane so I could sell some paper to the villager and buy some mending books. I brought Villager some paper. He was busy looking at his lectern. I sold him enough paper to level him up. His next level he wanted to buy books from me for 1 emerald each. I have a ton of books, so this is great. I bought some more mending books and then he lowered the price to 1 emerald. I put mending on all the stuff that I could. I got Villager leveled up, and unfortunately he didn't have the glass trade I wanted. I really wanted to be able to buy glass, cause there's no other way to get it. I ran out of levels, but now at least I had mending on everything I needed it on. That night I went running around fighting mobs so that I could get EXP to repair the stuff that had mending on it. I saw a baby zombie villager, and when I got closer I saw there was another zombie villager also. But he was fast and didn't get caught, so I had to run around and maneuver until he finally got into the boat. There was a regular zombie with a sword that was annoying me. Finally I got them both into the boat. It was almost dawn though. Luckily I still had a few glass bottles to make the potions. I was able to use just 1 splash potion for both of them. I had to stay in view the whole time that they cured so that one wouldn't reinfect the other. Okay, there's one, and there's the other. They switched spots in the boat somehow when the baby cured. The next morning I let them out of the boat. What's up guys, welcome to your new house. I set up a new sugarcane farm because I was going to need a lot of paper. That night I kept resetting the new villager's lectern. I wanted an unbreaking book, but he hadn't given me the trade by the next morning. I heard a wandering trader outside, but he didn't have anything I wanted to buy. Finally I got new villager to offer an unbreaking book. It was kind of expensive, but that's okay. I can get loads of emeralds now. I got him leveled up and he had a looting 1 book, but not any glass. I needed looting, but I really need glass also. I can buy bookshelves from him for 2 emeralds and then break it and sell it back for 3 emeralds. I really needed a glass trade though, so I made the other villager into a librarian. I already have most books that I need, but he offered sharpness 4, so I took that. The next morning I set up some new beds in Villager's house. Then I gave them some carrots. Villagers love carrots. I leveled my new librarian up and he finally offered a glass trade. I need glass because I need to make a cartographer for a trial chambers map, and there's no other way to get glass in the swamps. I came back a little later and my villagers had made a new villager. I went ahead and I set up a cartographer table so that it would be ready when he grew up. That night I built an extension to the villager's house. It was getting kind of crowded in there. I moved all the villagers' job blocks into the new extension. I guess this is like the villager workshop. I brought one of my cats over to the villager's house so that they could have a friend. My cartographer finally grew up, so I sold him some paper to level him up. Then I sold him some glass, hoping he would have a trial chambers map on the next level. Luckily he had one. I bought it and I took a look and it was pretty close. I was happy because at one point I didn't even know if I would have any villagers, and now I have a bunch. That night I made some more golden carrots and I started preparing for the trial chambers. On day 57, the villagers had summoned an iron golem. At least he was outside. I don't really like it when they summon one inside. I started heading northwest towards the trial chamber. Okay, so according to the map, the chamber is right below me. I was hoping for good luck. I decided to dig straight down. I have feather falling 4, so it's not too dangerous. Finally I hit the tough bricks, which meant I found the chamber. But I didn't want to dig straight into it, so I looked for a safer entrance. I got inside, but I decided to wait until I'd felt it out a little before drinking my ominous potion, because that'll make things much harder. The first mob to spawn was a breeze. I really didn't want to deal with the breeze right then, they're kinda annoying. I went out into a hallway and I marked the door I'd come through. There were some skeletons here, but they're nothing to really worry about. Then some husks spawn. Once again, nothing to worry about. I got a trial key as a rewards from the spawner. I used it on a vault and I got some wind charges and another ominous potion and an enchanted book. The book was feather falling 4, but I already have that. I got another key from the spawner. Then I found some ender pearls in a barrel. I decided I'd go ahead and drink my ominous potion so that I'd be able to get better loot. The potion makes it a bit harder, but the loot can be much better, and this is the only way to get an ominous key for a chance of getting a mace. I found the safe room with the beds. Maybe someday I'll try 100 days in a trial chambers challenge, and I could live in the safe room. The husks are a little more difficult now. They have armor and swords. I found a cactus which is cool, and there's some sand. I guess trial chambers and wandering traders are the only supply of sand in this whole world. Things were starting to get a little more intense in one of the rooms. I got an ominous key finally. Breezes are really annoying. I got another ominous key. I pillared up to the ominous vault. I was really hoping for a core so that I could make a mace. But I didn't get it. I got a notch apple, ominous potion, and an enchanted book. The book was breach 1, which is really mid for an ominous vault. I used my other ominous key and I got a banner pattern, some diamonds, and a diamond chest plate. I spent about 5 Minecraft days in this trial chamber. It got monotonous, so I'll just try and show the highlights. I opened another vault on day 59. I got another notch apple and some emeralds in the iron block. Then when I opened another one, I got another notch apple, some emeralds, and a regular golden apple. I guess trial chambers are a pretty good source for notch apples. I decided to mine some of the copper blocks because each one is 9 copper ingots. I wanted to use some copper for building. And I also took the copper bulbs. I opened another vault on day 61. I got another notch apple and some junk. There was one last ominous vault in the whole chamber. If this one doesn't have a mace, I'll have to do an entire new trial chamber because the vaults, they don't reset. I got another notch apple, some emeralds, and the hatchet. I guess I'll have to do a new trial chamber then. It was nighttime when I got outside. I made a pillar in case I needed to find this chamber again. It's kinda crazy I was down there 5 days. It didn't seem like it at the time. I got a whole lot of loot from the chambers. Some was pretty good, some was mid. I rebuilt some pots from the sherds I had. I needed to repair my swords, so I made another and I added some enchants. Then I combined them and tried to add mending, but I didn't have enough levels left. Day 62 I had to do some villager trading to get my levels up. It's pretty easy to do. I can just buy bookshelves and then resell them. I combined some looting 1 books to get looting 3. That night I ran into a nitwit zombie villager. It's hard to get a nitwit without a village, so I trapped him in a boat. Nitwits won't take a job and all they do is wander around and complain, but it's kind of fun to have them around. A slime had decided to take over my boat. I decided it was okay and he could live there. The next morning I cooked one of my cacti to get some green dye. Then I used my flow banner pattern to create a new banner. I put Unbreaking 3 and Mending onto a shield, and then I added my flow banner to the shield. I don't know, I think it looks pretty cool. Later that day I cured the Nitwit. While he was curing, I woke my villagers up to do some trades. Then I spent some time gathering gunpowder. I added looting 3 to my sword. It took a lot of levels. Day 64 I brought Nitwit back to the villager house. It was kinda difficult because he had a sheep in the boat with him. Luckily you can pull boats with the lead now. I did some more villager trades to get some more levels. I put Nitwit's bed into the workshop because Nitwits stay up later and I didn't want him bothering my other villagers while they were trying to sleep. That night I finally put Mending on my sword. It took a lot of levels again. Then I ran around fighting mobs to gather gunpowder. The next day I got some gold smelting so that I could make more golden carrots. Then I got some fire resistance potions brewing. It was time to head back to the nether to mine some netherite. I wish I could have made some TNT, but it would take a lot of sand for that. I could have used beds, but I think rage mining is quicker than beds. I flew around looking for a good place to dig down. It had to be in either the nether wastes, Crimson, or the warped forest, and not surrounded by lava. I flew through some soul sands and I got the hot tourist destination advancement. I couldn't find a spot away from the lava, so I just drank a fire resistance potion and dug down through and past the lava. I got down to Y level 17 and that's the best for ancient debris. Then I turned on my chunk borders so I could mine along the edge of a chunk. You can insta-mine netherrack with efficiency 5. I think this method's easier than using beds. I was mining gold nuggets for more carrots, and I found my first piece of debris pretty quickly. I had to mine all the quartz I passed because the EXP repairs my pickaxe. I got stuck in basalt deltas, which isn't good for finding debris, but I was trying to stay close to my portal because I didn't have enough fireworks with me to fly home. On day 67 I had enough debris for 3 pieces of netherite. I decided to go home and restock my fireworks. It was a thunderstorm when I got home. I got my ancient debris smelting. I did some trades to repair my pickaxe. Then I made some more firework rockets. I went ahead and I made some copies of my netherite upgrade template. I wanted to go ahead and make my pickaxe netherite before I went back to mine some more debris. I stashed my 8 netherite scraps in a shulker box, and I completely forgot about them until later in the game. I had to make some more fire res potions, then headed back to the nether. I turned chunk borders on again, and I found the chunk edge, and I started rage mining. On the day with the funny number, I finally had 25 pieces of ancient debris. I figured this was good for now. I could make 6 netherite ingots with it. I swam up a lava stream to the surface. On my way home through the fortress, I killed a weather skeleton and he dropped a skull. I already had one at home, so I only needed one more to fight the wither. But this fortress is no good for finding skeletons. I decided to fly around and search for a better fortress. I flew by a new bastion, but that's not what I'm looking for right now. Finally I found another fortress. This one was in the Soul Sand Valley. Those are the best for wither skeletons. Okay, that was easy enough. Let's go home now. I got back home on day 70. It was nice and sunny outside. I put my debris in the furnace to smelt. I was pretty happy I'd got this completed. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to find enough without TNT, but it was really no problem. Once my netherite smelted, I turned it into ingots. I considered making my Silk Touch pickaxe netherite, so I combined it with another one to give it efficiency 5. I had to duplicate a couple netherite templates, then I put netherite on my sword and on all my armor. I didn't like having to swim to Villager's house, so I extended my walkway to make it easier to walk back and forth. What's up, Nitwit? You doing okay? I needed to make a new cartographer so I could get a map to a different trial chambers. Luckily he had the trade, sometimes they don't. Unfortunately it looked like the chamber was going to be pretty far away. I enchanted a new hatchet because I wanted to put netherite on it. Then I combined it with my old hatchet to get efficiency 5. And then I added the netherite to it. The next morning, it was time to head to the new trial chambers. It was far away, but I had my wings. Okay, right about here somewhere. It shouldn't be too hard, I'm pretty overpowered at this point. Okay, here it is, let's go. I decided to go ahead and drink the potion. What's this, regular zombies? I'm supposed to be scared of that? Bro, I come from the swamps. Okay, bogs with enchanted bows and armor. That's a little more scary. I got to the first ominous vault in the chamber and I was hoping for some luck. I got one of the new music discs. That's pretty good actually. There was an amethyst geode that was taking up a big part of the chamber. The ominous vault was accessible though. That vault was kinda mid. I already had a banner pattern. I decided I might as well take the cactus in the sand again. I was making sure to check all the barrels and pots. There can be some pretty good stuff hidden inside them. This spawner was glitched. I'm not sure what the issue was, but the second one wouldn't turn off. It would just keep respawning every few seconds like a normal spawner. Because of that, it wouldn't allow either of the spawners to complete. The most annoying part of ominous trials isn't the mobs. It's the things that are randomly exploding in the air. This room had fire charges. I guess maybe it's the dispensers feeding them. Also the effects that were causing random webs to appear. That's pretty annoying too. Bogs hit pretty hard, but they're also low on health. If you can get them to fight each other, they do the job for you. On day 74, something amazing happened. I finally got a heavy core. In total, I think it took about 9 Minecraft days for the 2 trial chambers, which is about 3 real-life hours. I was happy to finally have it. It was worth it, I think. I still had some time left on my potion, so I decided to stay a while longer. I heard that this chest is glitched. It's supposed to be random loot, but it's always the same: a cake, iron block, and a diamond. I sure do like cake though. I had a couple more keys, but I couldn't find any more ominous vaults. I think maybe the amethyst geode blocked the generation somehow. I found one room that I hadn't cleared yet. I call it the trapdoor room, and it's kinda dangerous, even with the overpowered armor. It also has an ominous vault in it. I got a flow armor trim and another ominous potion. It was nighttime when I got back to the surface. I was happy to see my little swamp compound. I'd been gone for days. I didn't even wait until morning to make my new mace. I don't know, it's not the best weapon yet, and it's really slow, but it looks really cool, I think. First thing the next day I wanted to enchant my mace. I didn't realize that you can't get windburst from the enchanting table. I really wanted windburst. Density 4 is also really good, so I took that hoping it would also have windburst. But since it didn't, I grindstoned it. Then I checked the enchantment again to see if maybe there'd be windburst, but it wasn't. I had to do some villager trading to get my levels back up. I needed to wait for them to restock though, because I bought everything out before the chambers. Okay guys, break time's over. I went back and I put density 4 on my mace. Obviously it didn't have windburst, but I'd looked it up already by that point and I knew you had to get it from a book. I wanted to duplicate my armor trim, so I needed to go get some more diamonds. That should be good for now. I had a ton of diamonds now, and a bunch of breeze rods, so it was pretty easy to duplicate the trim. This is my first time using this specific armor trim. I don't know, I think it looks pretty good. My shield doesn't match though, I'm gonna need to fix that. I have this black sheep, and she lives on the north side of my property. I wanted to get some of its wool to make a banner. I needed 6 pieces for that, so I brought him closer to the villager house. I had to re-enchant a new shield, and my anvil broke. Okay, yeah, that matches, and it looks much better, I think. I wanted to try out the mace, so I pillared up pretty high. I have feather falling, so even if I miss, it's not really a problem. I got the advancement for overkill. That's for doing 50 hearts of damage with the mace in a single hit. On day 78, I saw a cat over by villager's house. I had to tame it, so I went and grabbed some fish. The scariest thing happened. The cat fell off the waterfall. I didn't know what to do, but I was able to tame it real quick. But then it fell all the way off. I didn't have any leads with me. I was able to get it to sit on a block in the middle of the water, and then I had to run and grab some leads. On my way back with the leads, there was another cat. I didn't want it to fall off too, so I tamed it and I just left it sitting there because I needed to run and save the other cat. I had to try and swim up the waterfall with the cat. It was really scary, but we made it in the end. I brought the new cats to the house. I had to give Siamese cat a lot of fish to heal her. Her health must have been really low. I'm really glad I was able to save her, and then I let the new cats make a little kitten. I actually spent most of day 79 just working on my pathway. I had to fix where it was mismatched, and I wanted to extend it some. This iron golem has been putting in work. Look, my mob grinder spawned something, but it still doesn't work. I needed some more tough blocks, so I had to head back down to the mines. On day 80, I finally decided to get rid of that monstrosity of a mob grinder. I don't like failing, and it was a constant reminder of my failure. Hey Slime, what's up bro? I made some night vision potions. It was time to fight the Wither. I dug a tunnel at Y level 59. A tunnel at Y level 59 is the easiest way to fight the Wither. In the swamps it would have been pretty difficult to fight above ground, but maybe if I do 200 days in this world I might try to fight it above ground. I went through all of my messy chests and realized I didn't have enough blocks for a beacon, not even like a level 2 one. I mean, I could make a beacon, I just didn't have enough ore for the pyramid. I went flying around looking for a good cave opening. To be honest, I wasn't really seeing many options. It was raining and it was almost nighttime, so I went into a small cavern. It actually opened up into a somewhat decent cave. I was going to just mine all the different ores I could find and I could make a mismatch beacon. The cave opened up into the deep slate layers, and it was actually a pretty decent cave. I found a fossil. They're actually pretty rare, but they're more common in swamps, so it wasn't as rare as it would normally be. I could have used the diamonds, but I don't know, I didn't want to mess up the fossil, so I just left it intact. I was getting a decent amount of ore, but I still needed some more. I should have probably just built an iron farm, but that's not as fun as caving. It was nighttime outside when I got back to the surface. I made some diamond blocks, and then I got my iron smelting. What's up, Nitwit? You alright, bro? I did a little bit of farming so I could pass the time while my ore smelted. I decided to go ahead and change my roof to copper instead of oak. I really hate working on roofs, but I just didn't like how the oak looked. I still didn't really like it. I don't know, I'm gonna have to add something to it. Maybe some glowberries will help. It was starting to get a little better. Maybe some copper bulbs will look better. Okay, yeah, that's starting to look better. The next day I got a little level 2 beacon set up. I used mostly diamonds for the top, but I was short 1 block for that. I had really planned to do a full beacon, but I guess I failed at that. I still had time to make an iron farm in AFK, but that'd be kinda boring, I think. I put some green stained glass on top of the beacon to make the beam green. What do you think, Slime? You think it matches you? I did some villager trading for some levels. I also didn't want them to feel neglected because I haven't traded with them for a few days. That night I set up a trap because I wanted to catch a bogged for some reason. I used a name tag to name him Dinnerbone, and that makes any mob flip upside down. I thought the name was also fitting for a bogged. I'd made a mistake by using glass blocks for his roof blocks. I panicked a little and I was unsure what to do. R.I.P. Dinnerbone. Can we get an F in the comments for Dinnerbone? He was a good bogged. I converted Dinnerbone's house into like a memorial for him. Then I did some more villager trading. I needed a new cartographer. I wanted to get the Windburst enchant, and I think you can only get it from Ominous Vaults. A wandering trader spawned, and he had cherry saplings. I bought some, and also some black dye. It's nice to finally have a tree besides oak. I put one beside my house, but I don't know. It doesn't really match well, I don't think. I was waiting on that kid to grow up so I could make him my new cartographer. I took down the cherry tree. I need to find a better place for one. It really just doesn't match next to my house. I made my new cartographer. Luckily he also had a map to a new chamber. This one was also to the northwest like the other two had been. It was closer though. My real life cat was distracting me, and I had forgot to put my chest plate back on and switch my shield back on, and I actually started taking a lot of damage. I survived though. First vault, nothing I need. I found another fossil that was built into a geode that was built into the trial chambers. That's kind of neat, I guess. Second vault, mid also. I really only need one thing, which is a Windburst book. I found this like cactus tree or tree cactus thing. Not sure what to say about that. It was kind of odd though. On the third vault I thought I had it, but it was just a density book. I found a new music disc in a chest. The fourth vault was pretty lucky. Unfortunately I already have a mace, so I don't really need a heavy core, but I'll still take it. The book was just multi-shot. But on the fifth vault, I finally got lucky and got what I came for. Let's go. I decided I'd just go ahead and leave. I didn't really need anything else from in there. Look, I just want to leave. Leave me alone. Alright, let's go home. Day 93, I finally put Windburst on my mace. I put a music box in Villager's house so we could listen to some music discs. We had a dance party to Lena Rain Creator. That night, after a couple failed attempts, I got Windburst to work. I'll need to practice it a lot though. I finally remembered about those 4 pieces of netherite scraps that I had, so I enchanted a hoe and a shovel. But I wanted efficiency on my shovel, so I grindstoned it. I tried again and had to grindstone again. On the third try, I still didn't get it. I checked and the next enchant would get it, but I was going to need some more levels for that. Good thing it's easy to get levels from my villagers. On day 95 I put a netherite ingot onto my shovel, and then I put one on my hoe. I got the advancement for serious dedication. Use a netherite ingot to upgrade a hoe and then reevaluate your life choices. Okay, all my tools are netherite now. I spent the rest of the day working on paths. I caught another zombie villager that night. I don't really need one, but I felt kind of bad for him. The next morning I cured the new zombie villager. I made him into a toolsmith because I wanted to be able to buy a bell as soon as I got him leveled up. I was waiting until nighttime to bring him into the villager house so that the others wouldn't escape and get into trouble outside. They were all by the gate and excited that someone new was moving in, except for Nitwit. He didn't really care. I still wasn't happy with how my house looked. I know it was day 97, but I needed to fix things. I changed the regular copper blocks to chiseled copper so it matched better. And I added some more copper bulbs. And I think that looked much better. I think that's what it was needing. Pigman was getting too close to Villager House, and I don't want Iron Golem to hurt him. Go on, go back over there. It's for your own safety. On day 98, I had to make a fenced-in area for Pigman. I really didn't want any accidents with the Iron Golem. He looks kinda sad though. I decided to bring some of his family in there with him. Oh look, isn't that a nice painting? It was finally day 99. I had accomplished almost everything I wanted to get complete. Well, except for a full beacon, but we won't talk about that. I also think my house looks pretty good at this point. The back side of it's not too good, but that's okay. I spent a little bit of time practicing for the thumbnail screenshot. A pillager patrol showed up, and I had to deal with them real quick. I put a green carpet on my llama. That's one of my favorite colors for them. It has a creeper face on it. Then I watched the day 99 sunset. Here we are. It's day 100. Thanks so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. I had a lot of fun making this video. It would really help if you left a like for the video and subscribed. I've also been trying to respond to any and all comments, within reason, so let me know if you have any questions. Bye!